morning, y'all. It is Monday. I thought I would show you. Now, I've told y'all before that once I get my sewing machine set up, I always find projects. Now, this pillow is a latex pillow, and I love it, and I've had it for years, and I've used these pillows for years. They're not really thick, they're spongy, and they maintain their shape. Now, a lot of people are allergic to latex, and I get that. But if you're not, and you could ever get these pillows, I think you'd be very happy with them. So, here are two projects. But before I get started on that, the way that I fixed my ironing board pad so that it's perfect. It's not too thick and spongy, but it's perfect. Some of y'all will remember that I used this big bath towel as a curtain and tank. It's velour on this side, which makes it perfect because it's smooth as opposed to the rough terry cloth side. So, I put that under here. It was really long, so it went all the way to the front. Now, have you ever noticed how one project leads to another project? Well, it happens that way, at least for me. So if I want to get really neat with this, I will measure this, cut it, and hem it so that it fits inside the ironing board pad. Now, I love this pad because this elastic is very strong, and I also have used a couple of these clips that go from side to side that help keep it in place. Not necessary really, but I had them already, so I used them. Now for the projects. I told y'all that I buy pretty cheap cloths like this. Hardly ever do they wear out in this part. I mean, these things will last forever, y'all. But I do sew along the edges, all the way around. And what that does is it keeps the edge from separating from the cloth itself, which when you buy these cheaper things is usually what happens first. So I get ahead of that and I make the seam. Now, as far as I know, if I remember correctly, a zigzag stitch is really helpful to keep things from fraying. So that's one thing that I do with all of my cheaper linen. Okay, now, I showed you my latex pillow. They all come with a zippered pillow cover that is washable. So, I can't stand it when my pillowcase is big and I have a bunch of pillowcase left over. Now, this happens to be a full-size pillow, but they make pillowcases oversized now, and I don't like that. I like them to fit nice and snug. Now, most fabric these days has got some kind of polyester in it, but these were washed before I altered them. So you can see this is how much I took off the sides. So what I did was I measured from this outside seam on the pillow over to the other outside seam, and then I marked it. So I turned the pillowcase inside out. and I made 2 seams. I made a zigzag, and then I did a regular seam, because I want to make sure that these things stay in place and I don't ever have to redo them. So y'all, I have always done this. I love doing it. I like my pillowcases to be nice and snug. That way I don't have to shake them down and bend them over so that they're smooth. Oh my word, y'all. Yes, yes, yes. One project leads to another, and you get out the sewing machine and you go crazy. Now, I have told y'all that one of my sweet, sweet viewers sent me 2 beautiful quilts, a twin size and a full size. Now, you can see I've got the twin size, I think it's the twin size, draped over this chair. Now, because I've lowered my bed, and yes, what I did was I went to Lowe's and I had some slats cut. Now, from edge to edge on the inside of the little bed was 39 inches. So I had the slats cut to 38.5 inches, and they work perfectly. Now, because my bed is lower to the ground, just like I like it, 1, because I just like it that way. 2, I don't worry so much about Hazel jumping off and getting hurt, even though I know you can fall 2 inches and hurt yourself, but it makes me feel better, and it's just more comfortable for me. And my little headboard works just fine. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my twin size. Terry was sitting over here yesterday. Oh my gosh, y'all. He loves this chair. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my twin size quilt, and I'm going to make a seam right down the middle of it. So it is going to fit my bed the way I have it now. I'll measure carefully, give myself an extra inch or so, and then once I get it cut properly and I leave plenty of fabric from this seam to the edge, I'll double my seam right there, my stitching, and then I will stitch very close to that edge twice so it doesn't come unraveled. But I'm going to separate the fabric and make the stitching on either side so I can press that down the middle, and it's not going to be a hump in my quilt. And I may tack it down with a few little stitches by hand, just to make sure it stays nice and smooth. So y'all, that's another project. I'm never going to be done with them. And that's okay, because that's always been my thing. Now, I got this at the dollar store a while back. And while it's really cute, that paint color just doesn't get it. I hang my keys right there and my jacket if I know I'm going to need it on the way out. So I'm going to remove the little bracket. That's little tiny screw, but I happen to have little tiny screwdriver. So I'm going to paint that. It'll probably be white. So then that'll look a lot nicer. And I will use this same paint so that it's exactly the same. So y'all, that's it for this video, and that's one of the plans I have. And I hope maybe this gave you an idea or two. Talk to you later. Bye now.